Welcome back. Today, we're exposing the dark side of cryptocurrency, the scams that have cost people billions. Crypto's potential is huge: decentralized finance, digital ownership, and innovation. But with that potential comes serious risk. The crypto world is like the Wild West. If you're not careful, you can lose everything in seconds. Sophisticated scams prey on excitement and greed, draining billions from unsuspecting investors. In this video, we'll break down the biggest crypto scams in history, how they worked, and the lessons you need to protect yourself. Let's dive in. These insights could literally save you a fortune. First up, we're diving into the murky world of cryptocurrency scams, where promises of untold riches often mask elaborate schemes designed to separate you from your hard-earned money. OneCoin, a global scam, a name that still sends shivers down the spines of those who fell victim to its deceptive allure. A meticulously crafted con that stole a staggering $4 billion from unsuspecting investors worldwide. At the heart of this elaborate fraud was Dr. Ruja Ignatova, the charismatic and enigmatic so-called crypto queen. She dazzled crowds with promises of OneCoin being the next Bitcoin, a revolutionary cryptocurrency poised to take over the world. The promise of immense wealth was intoxicating, but beneath the surface, OneCoin was nothing more than a sophisticated multi-level marketing scheme, cleverly disguised as a cryptocurrency. It thrived by rewarding investors handsomely for recruiting others into the scheme, rather than generating any real value through a legitimate product or service. The catch? The fatal flaw in this seemingly foolproof plan? There was no real blockchain underpinning OneCoin, just a centralized, easily manipulated fake database designed to give the illusion of a functioning cryptocurrency. The coins themselves were simply numbers on a screen, their value arbitrarily controlled and inflated by the scammers behind the operation. They aggressively sold overpriced education packages and promised lucrative returns from fake mining operations, further enriching themselves at the expense of their victims. All of this was carefully designed to lure people in with the tantalizing illusion of easy wealth and financial freedom. But the red flags were there, waving frantically for anyone who cared to look. The most glaring? No public verifiable blockchain. OneCoin was conspicuously absent from all legitimate cryptocurrency exchanges, making it impossible to trade or cash out your investment. And there was relentless pressure to recruit new members, a hallmark of any pyramid scheme. OneCoin's reach was truly global, spanning continents and preying on vulnerable populations around the world. The scam targeted both inexperienced individuals with little understanding of finance, and even seasoned investors who were blinded by the promise of quick riches. It particularly thrived in communities with low financial literacy, where people were less equipped to recognize the warning signs. But as law enforcement agencies began to close in, the house of cards began to crumble. In 2017, as the net tightened, Ruja Ignatova vanished without a trace, leaving a trail of devastation in her wake. To this day, she remains on the FBI's most wanted list, a fugitive from justice. The fallout from OneCoin has been catastrophic. Billions of dollars lost and countless lives irrevocably ruined. So what are the key lessons we can learn from the OneCoin debacle? First and foremost, always without exception, verify the existence and legitimacy of a project's blockchain. If you can't independently verify the technology and the data, if the inner workings are shrouded in secrecy, then don't trust it, no matter how compelling the pitch. Be extremely wary of multi-level marketing structures in the world of investments. They are often a red flag. If the primary focus is on recruitment, and not on the inherent value of the product or service, it's time to run, not walk away. And remember the golden rule: if the promised returns sound too good to be true, they almost certainly are. OneCoin was a masterclass in deception, a carefully orchestrated scheme designed to exploit greed and ignorance, but the warning signs were undeniably there for those willing to see them. Always do your own thorough research. Demand complete transparency from any investment opportunity. And above all else, never ever invest blindly based on hype or the promises of others. Don't let the allure of quick riches and the persuasive power of hype blind you to the underlying reality. Protect yourself, stay informed, and be skeptical. Next, Mt. Gox, a name that once echoed with promise, now synonymous with one of the most significant disasters in cryptocurrency history. The exchange that lost, not just funds, but also the trust of an entire community. A staggering 850,000 bitcoins vanished into thin air. Back in 2013, Mt. Gox was the undisputed king, handling a massive 70% of all Bitcoin trades worldwide. It was the central hub, the place everyone went to buy, sell, and trade Bitcoin. It was the go-to platform, until disaster struck, revealing deep-seated flaws and vulnerabilities. Originally conceived as a trading site for Magic the Gathering cards, a far cry from the world of digital finance, it transitioned into a Bitcoin exchange under the leadership of Mark Karpels. Rapid growth, while initially a sign of success, ultimately led to critical security lapses, widespread mismanagement, and a general lack of oversight. By early 2014, the cracks began to show, and users found themselves unable to withdraw their funds. Panic started to set in. Then, in a move that shocked the world, Mt. Gox went completely offline and filed for bankruptcy protection. A heart-stopping 850,000 bitcoins, with an estimated value of nearly $500 million at the time, were simply gone, vanished without a trace. The catastrophic collapse sent shockwaves of fear and uncertainty throughout the entire crypto world, dramatically tanking prices across the board and shattering the hard-earned trust that had been built. Subsequent investigations revealed a disturbing pattern of years of security failures, gross negligence, and poor oversight at every level. The ensuing legal battles dragged on for years, a complex and convoluted web of claims and counterclaims, with only a tiny fraction of the lost coins ever recovered, leaving countless users devastated. The enduring lesson: not your keys, not your crypto. A simple phrase, but a fundamental truth. If you don't control your private keys, the unique digital signatures that authorize transactions, you don't truly own your assets. Don't store large amounts of your cryptocurrency on exchanges for extended periods. Instead, use them primarily for active trading, taking advantage of market opportunities. Then, as soon as possible, move your crypto to a secure wallet that you control. Before entrusting any exchange with your funds, thoroughly research their security protocols. Investigate their history, assess their insurance coverage, and understand their financial protection measures. The Mt. Gox debacle fundamentally changed the cryptocurrency industry, elevating security and the importance of self-custody to top priorities for everyone involved. Don't let the allure of convenience compromise the security of your valuable digital assets. Learn from the painful lessons of Mt. Gox. Prioritize the protection of your crypto above all else. Trust, but always verify. Now let's delve into the story of BitConnect. It was a Ponzi scheme that not only became a viral meme sensation, but also a financial disaster of epic proportions for countless individuals. BitConnect lured investors with the promise of incredibly high returns, offering up to 1% daily through their proprietary trading bot technology. Did it sound too good to be true? Absolutely. And as the saying goes, it almost always is. Investors were encouraged to lend their Bitcoin in exchange for BitConnect coin, or BCC, their native token. They were then paid profits on their holdings, seemingly effortlessly. But this system only worked as long as a constant stream of new money flowed into the platform. The core of BitConnect's business model wasn't actually trading, it was aggressively recruiting new members into the scheme. Lucrative referral bonuses created a cult-like atmosphere, driving a frenzy of investment. Even with prominent figures in the crypto space raising serious concerns and issuing warnings, BitConnect's token price continued to climb, reaching a staggering $2.6 billion market capitalization at its peak. Ultimately, regulatory bodies stepped in and shut the whole operation down. The price of BCC plummeted, crashing by over 90% virtually overnight. This sudden collapse wiped out the fortunes of countless investors. For many, this meant the devastating loss of their entire life savings. The promoters behind BitConnect either vanished without a trace or found themselves facing serious legal consequences. The key takeaway from this debacle? Any investment promising consistently high returns should be considered a major red flag. Remember that Ponzi schemes are inherently unsustainable, relying on a constant influx of new investors to pay off earlier ones. If a platform places a heavy emphasis on recruitment and offers excessive referral bonuses, rather than focusing on the underlying value of the product or service, proceed with extreme caution. Always be skeptical of guaranteed profits and overly flashy marketing campaigns. While BitConnect may be a thing of the past, similar scams and fraudulent schemes continue to lurk in the shadows, waiting for unsuspecting victims. Therefore, it's crucial to maintain a healthy dose of skepticism and always conduct thorough research and due diligence before investing in anything. And most importantly, resist the temptation to chase after get-rich-quick schemes and the allure of easy money. By staying informed and vigilant, you can better protect yourself from becoming the next victim of a BitConnect-style scam. Finally, the Squid Game token, a viral rug pull that rode the Netflix hype. In 2021, scammers launched Squid claiming it was a play-to-earn token inspired by the hit show. The branding was perfect, the hype was massive, and the price skyrocketed thousands of percent in days. But there were glaring red flags, and anti-dumping mechanism made it nearly impossible for most investors to sell. The website was sloppy, the developers were anonymous, and the project had no real substance. Then, the rug pull developers drained the liquidity pool, making off with $3.3 million. The token crashed to zero, leaving investors with worthless coins. The lesson: hype-driven tokens with anonymous teams and technical restrictions are dangerous. Always check if you can actually sell a token and who's behind the project. Don't let FOMO override your judgment. If a project explodes overnight with no fundamentals, be extra cautious. Scammers love trends. Don't be their next victim. Investigate before you invest. 4 scams, 4 lessons. OneCoin's MLM, Mt. Gox's collapse, BitConnect's Ponzi, and Squid Game's rug pull. Crypto offers huge potential, but also huge risks if you're not careful. Scammers are always evolving, so stay skeptical and question everything. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Protect your money, research, verify, and never invest blindly. Subscribe for more tips and insights to keep your crypto safe. Thanks for watching. Stay smart and see you next time.